So I'm going to start with the 9. So both of these averages were 9.26. So I got 9.26 in the second round in Group B. So you can find those scrambles on WCA. And then I also got them in the finals, which you can also find in the WCA. And who knows, I might put them in the description. But if I don't, that's where you can find them on the website. So I'm going to start with the first average so this is from the second round. So this is the first solve. The main things that I look for in inspection are things like when I have, so first priority would be stuff like this. These are solved edges. So basically when I have an F2L edge that's sort of already connected to its center. And then obviously this sticks out, this little 2x1 block, but unfortunately the edge is in a really, really awkward position. I'm not sure if there was anything really great you could do. You could do something like this. That actually would have been pretty good. Maybe like a 6 move. Yeah, 6 move first block. Didn't see that though. What I did see was, I used this solved edge. Basically the way you want to use this, if I test white in my head, putting that on bottom, it has blue in the front and blue's in the back. So I know that this edge needs to be yellow. So here's the edge here. It's going to be the orange edge. And I need to find the orange and blue corner, which is back here. So the orange and blue corner can be connected with this edge with a D2UR. And then I can either insert it with U prime R2, which actually would have been better because it would have given me this free pair. But in my inspection, I just planned to do RY2D. And it gave this pair, which, I mean, it's 6 moves, but it's finger tricked really nice. So RU prime R prime to make it a free pair. And then you can do a bunch of stuff here like white R prime R prime F, or like M prime U2 F prime. But I just did U2 white R prime F prime. I felt that was the most comfortable thing. Puts the DR edge in a pretty bad position, but I was able to deal with it pretty well. I just did RY2, U, and then I obviously should have gone with this pair, but for some reason I just saw this and just went for it. I did a R2 instead of an RY2, and I just went for these. So it's just the standard C-pop solution. And then I went for this, just white RU, white R prime. And then it's just anti-soon for CMLR. And then, this is where I really messed up. So this first solve was an 8-10, like a pretty fast solve, but it easily could have been like mid-low 7. So here's my mistake. I did a U, which is correct. U, M2, U. And this is where I went wrong. So the obvious solution is M prime, U prime, M2. But what I did was I was focusing on my LR edges because I was pretty nervous. These are opposite, like this is orange and these two headlights are red. So you can do like EOLRB. But for some reason, I just got really nervous and I just did normal EOLR. And just left this unnecessary M2 prime M2 where I didn't do any double flicks. So it easily could have been, like low 7. But that's all right. It was still a great solve for the average. It wouldn't have affected my average either way because it was my best time. So 8-10, really nice way to start the average. Let's go into the next one. Okay, so this second scramble is much better than the first. There's this blue first block, which is really good. But what I opted to do was this red-yellow first block. So basically you have this half line and this red-green already solved. You can just do white R, D to insert the half line. And then to solve this pair, I just did U2 F prime R to set up a split pair, U white R prime F prime to insert it. Since I saw this corner and I didn't see the edge, I knew it would be somewhere hiding on the bottom. So I did U R wide 2 and that popped this up. And I didn't see, and so I just did double sexy, and I didn't see the next edge, so I did R wide prime, and luckily it showed up, and so this pair I did it like this, R wide prime, U prime, insert, and then this case I just did soon, U prime, anti-soon, and then for this, I don't know the EOLR for this case, so I just did U prime, M prime, U2, M prime, U2, MU, M prime. And I don't know what the name of this step is called. I guess just EO, just like post EO LSE. Basically, if you do MU2 M prime, you're going to get a really bad case. But if you do M prime U2 M prime to insert the LSE, the LR edge, you get this pretty nice case. And I didn't do any double flicks for that. But the turning was still really good. It was a 940. So let's go on to the next one. All right, so now going into the third solve. This solve was 849. So again, solved edge here. This is green, orange. and it's going to be a yellow on top. So I'm looking at this edge and this corner here. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to put this. So basically, if I put this on the bottom, I then have to insert this with U, R prime, U prime, R. But if I do a U and then put this on the bottom, I just insert it with the U prime, R, D. Okay. Now these two, it's just the CFOP solution. And then I sort of panicked. I should have done this pair in the back with like U, R prime, U prime, R, and then insert. But I just panicked and I just did this pair. So R, U prime, R prime, U prime, M2 to make the pair, U prime, R, U2, R prime to insert. Then I did this pair in the back and insert. Then really easy CLL, just like that. And then for EO, not EO, for LSE, it's an arrow, M prime, U prime, M prime. And then since this is opposite and this is the other LI edges on the bottom, basically I just put them on opposite sides and I brought this one up to the top with M, U2, and then reverse the M move, and then it's just this case there. And that was an 849. Alright, so this is the fourth scramble. Let's have a look at it. So, we don't have any solved edges, but we do have two of these 2x1 blocks. This first one, it had something different, but I didn't really like the finger tricks because I wanted to be super safe in this scenario. And also wouldn't put the DR edge in a very nice place. So I decided to go for, actually there's three pairs. I didn't even look at this one. It's kind of bad. Okay, this one's kind of bad. This is the one I ended up doing. Basically the way I did this was I moved this edge out of the way and put this on the bottom. Okay, and then I solved this edge, U prime B, and then I made this square, and then I just solved this pair here with IY prime, U prime, IY prime, F prime, and then I did this, so basically DR edge here, and then I started solving this pair, and then I did R wide to fix the centers and to orient this edge, and then I solved it like that, and this was pretty cool. I saw that this was going to be like a adjacent and then a line on the bottom. So this was my CMLL alg, and then I knew I'd have to do an M2 to get an arrow. So my alg finished with R2, I did R wide 2 instead of R2, and that just did the M2 for me. Did the arrow, and then same case as I believe the first solve, or was it third solve, same case as the third solve, MU2 M prime, basically, yeah, opposites, and then one over here, MU2 M prime U, and then just this case, I think it was like a 10.2. Wasn't a very great solve, a lot of moves, not very efficient, but it was a pretty spammy solution, so yeah, it wasn't too bad. Or was it 10.2? No, it was a 10.0. Okay, so now let's get into the fifth solve. Alright, so now let's get into the last solve. This solve was pretty tragic. The LSE sort of solved it. Very good chance for a sub 9 average, but this is what I did. So there was really good stuff on this scramble, and for some reason I didn't do this block, and then just solve that. Like, yeah, I don't know why I didn't do that. But unfortunately I did something a lot worse. So let me just solve this. Okay. Ooh, yikes. Alright. Okay. So this is what I did. Basically, I went for a safe solution, and it actually started well. So like the first two blocks were really good. Basically, this, you could do R prime U, F prime, but I don't know why. I just did this R move. It literally did nothing. Okay, and then I did like this, I prime, R prime, to make a pair, U prime, R wide, B prime. And then I did these two. So sometimes I do keyhole, but most of the time I do this solution. Basically put it in the back, and I do like R wide, U prime, M. So the way that works is basically it hides this and brings the corner up, and then you can make the pair. And then U R prime, and then I made this pair with U prime M2 and inserted in the back. Did a wide out to fix the centers, CMLL, and for some reason, because I suck, I didn't do the EOLR. Like, this is a really good EOLR. If I did like M2 U prime, it gives me this thing. But I didn't do that. I did M prime U2 M prime, U2 M prime, MU M prime, U2, and then I had to insert this. And it was just a lot of moves, got really nervous, and the LSE was really bad. So it was a 990 in the end. So yeah, that was one of two 926 NR averages. The second one was in the finals. I'll upload that sometime soon. Don't know when, but it'll be sometime soon. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something from the reconstructions. The solves are not the most efficient, but nonetheless, I think there's a few things to take away from them. Overall, I think I need to take some more time during inspection to look at multiple first blocks and also probably learn a bit more ELR. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the solves, good turning, and some okay solutions. So yeah, thanks for watching, and bye-bye.